Council, my name is Harry Zavos. I'm a resident of Glendale. I'm going to present some remarks I had intended for item 9A. As you may know, our charter in Article 11, Section 17 establishes a Waterworks Depreciation Fund, and it requires the council annually to set aside from the revenues of the waterworks money to be transferred into that fund sufficient to take care of the normal depreciation. Money sufficient for, and I quote now from the charter itself, money sufficient for the repair, replacement, betterment, and extensions of the plants and equipment of the waterworks. But the council is now considering a rate increase in order to have money to pay for such improvements. Tells me that over the years the council has not lived up to that charter-imposed duty. Over those same years, they've transferred millions of dollars of water fees to the general fund. In 2006, the California Supreme Court made it clear that water fees are property-related fees within the meaning of Article 13D of the Constitution. And that article indicates that such fees can only be used for the service for which they are collected. Yet from 2006 until this year, in violation of the Constitution, the city has transferred $20.5 million to the general fund. Those fees were not, as the Constitution required, spent on the service for which they were collected. Those monies have been used to support general fund budgets for things like parks, fire, library, police, and the like. And those are very good and necessary budgets and necessary services. But such services are a general fund obligation, not a waterworks obligation. And if the general fund revenues are insufficient for those budgets, the Constitution tells us how you can get added revenue. What you do is you go to a vote of the people. That's what Mr. Weaver, a few weeks ago, attempted when he unsuccessfully suggested to the council that they put a revenue measure on the ballot to support libraries. What the Constitution prohibits is the use of those water fees as added revenue to support those budgets, a way of circumventing the requirement of the Constitution that when general revenues need to be increased, they can be increased, but only if there's a vote of the people. Now, beginning with this year's purported $7 million surplus in the general fund, you can do the fair thing and return those illegal, those unconstitutional transfers from the general fund back to their rightful place in the depreciation fund, where they, instead of rate increases, can pay for needed improvements. That way you will prevent ratepayers having to pay for those improvements twice. Once through fees that should have gone into the depreciation fund, but in violation of the Constitution, were transferred out to the general fund, and a second time by rate increases.